What's going on, everybody? It's Tyler with Tyler Talks Travel Trailers here at Albuquerque RV in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And today we are going to tour a special order for a customer, one of my subscribers, that placed an order for a no boundaries to his liking, factory fresh with the options that he chose. We ordered it about a little over 8 weeks ago and it got here this morning. So this thing hasn't been detailed or cleaned or nothing. We are just going to get into it. I want to do this video for him and for you guys because it's a 2026 that we have not gotten in yet. So I'm excited to show it to you because this is actually a very popular floor plan for a lot of good reasons. It has tons of counter space. The slide when it's in travel mode is perfect. And then once you put the bed up, you have a lot of floor space. And the list goes on and on. This does have, the beast mode suspension. So this thing will take you places most trailers cannot. If you want to stick till the end or fast forward to the end, this customer was able to save a lot of money buying here in New Mexico. And if you want to hear how, I will go through that at the end of the video. I just don't want to take up too much time and just get it. I'd rather just get into it. But buying in New Mexico, you get a lot of benefits. It doesn't matter what state you're in. There is some tax incentives, some trade incentives, a lot of great ways to save money long down the road as well by buying in New Mexico. So make sure you stick around, watch that at the end. But first, we are going to do the specs. It takes me 1 minute to do those specs, and then we'll dive inside. Let's go, guys. So the basic specs on this 2026 No Boundaries 20.1 with the Beast Mode package. Your unloaded vehicle weight is 5,493 pounds. Your cargo carrying capacity is 1,500 pounds, which brings your potential fully loaded weight to 6,993 pounds. Your hitch weight is 705 pounds. Your exterior length is 24 feet 3 inches total. Your exterior height is 11 feet 6 inches. Your exterior width is 8 feet. Your tanks, your fresh water tank is 40 gallons. Your gray water tank is 40 gallons. And your black tank is 30 gallons. The awning size is 14 feet. Let's jump inside. Awesome, everybody. Now that we got those specs done, we're going to start with the inside and work our way out. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm going to be giving you a lot of information on features and benefits, construction, and I also include measurements on the interior and exterior just to give you a little idea of the space we're working with because the video can be deceiving. I try to give you as much info as I can. I figured once you're sick of listening to me, you could just shut me off. So let's dive in. This is a 20.1. And again, special order. Still got some huge discounts, even though it's factory fresh. Love it. I'm excited to show him and you guys this unit. So like I said, right around 24-ish feet. Great layout with one slide out. I always say it, if I was looking at a 25-foot trailer and under, the Murphy bed would have to be the way to go because look at all that floor space. Just you get to utilize the trailer a lot more when you're able to put that bed away. Lots of counter space, such a nice unit. We're going to start with the front and work our way around. So very simple to put this bed up and down. Let me set you down real quick. So Murphy beds are nice, a lot of opportunities to get more guests in here. If it's raining or the weather gets bad, you can put your bed up, but when you're ready to sleep, all you do is lift this. Got a little storage underneath that I will show you. Throw that down as easy as that. Pull this little latch right there, bring this down, and then bam, plop your bed down. How easy is that? Doesn't get any easier than that. And what I love about this particular setup is that this is a queen bed. And what's cool is it's actually a true queen. It's 60 by 80. So this customer is trading in I think like a 2021 Winnebago. And he, I hate to say it, but doesn't matter what brand you get, RV mattresses kind of suck. So what he's going to do is he's going to take his mattress that he bought that is going to be substantially more comfortable. And because it's residential grade, it's going to fit our residential size. It's going to fit perfectly right here. It's not going to hang off. I think that is awesome. So if you even want to get a topper or anything like that to make the mattress a little more comfortable, you won't have to go and find a specialty mattress. So that's going to be a little convenient for him. So that way he can, put his own mattress in here from his Winnebago that he purchased for that trailer. Over here to the left, you do have some storage. You got some storage down here, some wardrobes. We'll start with the hanging wardrobe right here. It's got the nice glass inlay with the glow and light on the inside. I love it. This storage area is going to be 14.5 by 19.5 and 32 inches tall. So you'll have these on both sides. Very nice. They're actually tall enough to where your shirts won't wrinkle unless you're a giant. Down below, you do have a drawer the same on both sides. It's going to be 10 by 15 and 3.5 inches deep. And then these little end tables, I'll show you when I put the couch up. But you do have storage right here as well on both sides. It looks like this is where your bypass valves are for the antifreeze inlet. So this will be on both sides, 12 by 15 and 16 inches tall for those two right there. This seems like a good setup for people that might have a CPAP machine. You know, you want to get a good night's sleep. Let me try to crawl on here without getting my shoes on here. So if we come over here, you do have some nice cabinets right here. So like I said, CPAP machines, I had a customer tell me they're a lot smaller now. So you could easily fit these right here. I did not measure them. They do get a little smaller because it rounds up at the top. And then what's convenient is you got plugs down here. You got USB and USB-C, and you have your standard plug. So you are ready to go if you have a CPAP machine. I know that's important. Those plugs are very special, and we'll get into why in a bit. Then this does have the windshield. Again, if my customer's watching this and you see like wood chips and stuff, this is fresh. I got in it before our detail guy did. So it still has some bugs splattered on the windshield. But I love the front windshield because it lets in a lot of natural light. They do make aftermarket covers for these, so don't be too concerned about being able to protect it. And I love these latches right here. Flagstaff uses the magnets, and they're kind of a pain in the butt. So I do like those. And then you got your nice shade to cover that if you want a little privacy. But if you want to let that natural light in, it's really nice to have that extra window. It obviously does not open, but pretty cool. Now, let's say it's raining out. You got some guests with you, and you guys all want to come in here and kick back. You don't want them sitting on your bed. Instead, throw this up, and then it'll lock into place. Bam! And then you kind of just roll this couch like that. Then you got some cup holders in the middle for those cold snacks. And bam! Now you have your guests comfortable instead of sitting on your bed. So anytime the weather's bad, it's just nice to be able to put your bed away, and then it's not taking up any space in the trailer really, and you get to utilize it a little better. So that's your couch right there. That one does not recline, but I will show it to you. You got those cup holders for the cold snacks, and like I said, you do have some end tables on the both sides. These end tables are going to be 15.5 by 23 for both sides. And then the couch itself, I always measure from like the edge to the edge. This is going to be 56 inches long or 4 feet 8 inches. So definitely big enough to, you know, relax, have some guests in here. Pretty comfy. I love the color schemes of the couches mixed with that green tone and the lighter contrasting colors. It looks great. Windows on both sides. That'll be your emergency exit. That one will be one that opens sideways. Moving on to the left. This is your slide out right here. And as you can see, we ordered it for this customer with the theater seating. So these do recline. You can order it with the trifold sofa. Me personally, I would not go with the trifold sofa. Sometimes they're pretty small. This one might be a little bigger because the slide. So if you did want to sleep in an extra guest, we can order it for you with the trifold sofa. It'll be kind of like that one, just a little more, it'll have a little more cushion to it. So it's very similar to that one right there. As you see, you got end tables on both sides. I forgot to measure those, but I've measured them in my previous videos. These are nice because you can take them out, and then you'll still have your cup holders. And then you got cup holders on these as well. But they are plenty big to actually sit there and do some work. You even have this middle part right here for even more cold snacks. You could be double fisting those drinks right there. And I always measure, like I said, what you can sit on. You look on the manufacturer website, they measure the whole armrest, which I don't like to count. So for everyone out there, I measured from the seam right here to the other side. It is 58 inches or 4 feet 10 inches of space right there. And the Flagstaffs, they don't let you put up this middle part. And I kind of like when you can, because if you want to cuddle up with your significant other, you could bring that up and get nice and cozy. These are the manual pull ones, which I like because then you don't have to worry about anything happening. It's just a little more simple. So you'll pull this down here and bam. And I love the length of the actual recliner right here. Sometimes they're so small your legs hang off. I'm 5'7" and I'm right at the edge of it, and they do lean back. Try to do that without getting my shoes on there, but check it out. See? So if you have a guest, beggars can't be choosers, they could easily sleep on this. So they do kind of hug the wall. You could kick back, take a nap, very comfy. And like I said, if you need to get some work done as well, you got these end tables right here that are a very good size. And if you want to remove them, you can. Swivel them around. Really nice setup. Have some friends in here, kicking back, hanging out, having some good conversations. I have that window up because look at how massive that window is. I love it. Hopefully the view's a little better out there when you own it. And this one does not open, but I personally would rather have a bigger window than have one that opens. You do lose some cabinet space up top. Some trailers, they'll give you cabinet space, but again, this is a couples coach and the storage you get is phenomenal in this. So again, I would rather have the bigger window just so you could see out and see the view. You have side windows on both sides, so you're still able to open these ones on both sides and get a nice cross breeze going through here. Nice and comfy. Love that setup. You'll always know where the slide is because it's framed out right there. Moving on. I did do measurements right here in the floor, but we'll do the travel mode when we go outside just to give you a better idea of the space. Look at all of this counter space. How insane is this? It's like a buffet top. Look at all of this counter space. I love kitchens because I love food and because I'm fat. So if you're someone that likes to cook, significant other likes to cook, you want to get your food ready, more than enough prep space right here. And I measured this out for you just to show you how insane this is. So as you could see, you can utilize all this as counter space. So if you're not using the sink, you have that cutting board that goes on top. When you're not using the stove top, you have this as prep space as well. So you can literally get a tray of food all the way across. That is going to be 23.5 by 122. That is 10 feet, 2 inches of pure prep space, baby. So that is what you're working with as a whole. If you are going to utilize the sink, love the cutting board. You could take this out, obviously, but I love the engraving. I probably wouldn't use it just because it looks so nice and everything has a place. So you set that right there. And a nice big undermount sink. Big size, big enough to actually do some pots and pans. Perfect. So this can be 13 by 21 and 6 inches deep. Now, I have discussed this, some of you probably haven't heard, but I asked the manufacturer, why did you get rid of the waterfall spout and all the trays? I'm actually very happy that they got rid of it, and the reason why is because they were having recalls. All the brands are having recalls with that waterfall spout right here, that on the 25 model they put. So they got rid of it. I think most people are going to be happy that they got rid of it because of those recalls and leaks. So that's why they got rid of that waterfall spout. But what I love about Nobo is they didn't just keep the money and, not give you something else. They did include some better upgrades in replace of that 25 model sink. So I'm happy that they kind of fixed the issue and just went back to what works. You still have your cup cleaner right here, so you'll sit that on there and it'll shoot water around. Be very careful if you're out looking at trailers and they're new. You push that, it'll spray antifreeze all over you. And I've done it. So you got this, you still have the nice waterfall spout. So up here, it comes out like this. So if you want to get a nice broad spray, or if you need to get up close and personal with your dishes, you could pull it down and spray this way. Love the interior of Surveyors, Nobos. They have the best color schemes, very modern, with a feng shui. So it's got the gold accented faucet, your green tones, really nice. So big sink, lots of storage throughout. Like I said, you could probably bring your whole kitchen along from the house. And they gave you plenty of drawers, which I'm happy about. A lot of the other Nobos, they don't give you enough drawers. 10.5 by 15 and 3.5 inches deep for those drawers. Not super deep, but they give you plenty of drawers that should suffice. Down below, you do have easy access to your plumbing right there. Lots of great space for all your cleaning stuff, sponges, soap, and all that. This top one is going to be 21.5 by 36 and 15 inches tall. Down below, it's a little smaller. I didn't measure it, but some added storage there. Pretty nice. I love the raised beveled edge right here. You got hidden hinges, so it looks nice and sleek. And again, those gold accented handles just looks nice. Moving on to the right, we do have your 3-burner cooktop. So when you're not using this as prep space, flip this bad boy back and wha-bam. Now you got your backsplash for your grease. Like I said, 3-top burner. You got your fancy dancy lights, and your igniter is right here, so you don't have to light it with a match or a lighter. Love that it's in the center, so you don't have to worry about grease and stuff like going onto the sidewalls. So plenty of room there. And then up above, you have your light fan combo. So if you're like me and you burn stuff, you do have an exhaust bringing all that smoke out of the trailer. Now, it does not have the oven. So in place of that, you get storage, which a lot of people I find like more, but they did make up for it, so stick with me. 22.5 by 22.5 and 16 inches tall. It does curve right there in the back, but that is basically what you're working with. That is great for, you know, big pots, pans, all that good stuff. So that is going to work fantastic for those bigger kitchen cookware stuff. Up top, like I said, you got your microwave, but check it out. You got the air fryer, baby, woo! And the roaster convection. So this has normal microwave, convection, and the air fryer. If you haven't used an air fryer, you are missing out. I thought I was too macho for an air fryer until I got one, and they work so good. So in replace of that oven, you do have your air fryer and convection in this microwave. Let me show you again, because everything is a little bit smaller in RVs, but still a decent size. You got a little spice rack up here with your little thingy, bungee. All right, and then over here to the right, again, more storage for all of those utensils. 10.5 by 20 and 3.5 inches deep, so these will be the same as well. And this counter space goes all the way back. And what I love about it is you could easily put your coffee pot, Keurig over here tucked away. The side of this counter space right here, next to the stove. So this area right here is going to be 23.5 by 45.5. So if you're using the stove, you still have that much counter space for, you know, whatever you cut up to put on the pan. And then if you're doing dishes over here and not using this, you still have plenty of counter space to put a drying rack or whatever you need to put there. 23.5 by 26.5 is going to be this side. So still plenty of counter space when both of these things are being utilized. And then what I love is that Keurig could go right over here, maybe the blender, the toaster, and you got your plug right there, right at your disposal. Plenty of windows on the campsite that I love. Lets in some natural light throughout. So 3 windows on the campsite. You do have storage up here. This one's a little more shallow, as you could see. But man, this thing goes back pretty far. Probably want to put stuff back there that you don't use as much, because this is 7 by 44 and 21 inches tall for that storage. Love the magnets that they use versus the rolly pins. Like, you actually have to give it a good tug, and those magnets aren't going to wear out like those rolly pins. So they tend to stretch out, and then you end up having all your dishes on the floor. No good. Now this one's pretty big. Lots of storage. There's that side of the storage that I told you goes back really far. 18 by 23 and 21 inches tall for that storage right there. Holy smokes. That tour is almost all storage. That is fantastic. That is a kitchen if I've ever seen one. So we'll put this back down. And then this just goes right over top. Really great kitchen. I love it. Now, talking about your interior height, Very impressed with the Nobos. The bigger ones like this size usually have this high of ceilings, but like I think like the 18-point ones might have smaller interior ceilings. But in a Rockwood, this is considered their high ceiling. So this is an upgrade on a Flagstaff in Rockwood. So I'm happy. These are going to be 82-inch tall interior height ceilings, or 6 feet 10 inches. Like on a Flagstaff or Rockwood, you're going to be about 6 feet 8 inches. So you're getting about 8 inches more of interior height, or about 2 inches more of interior height in the Nobo. And I think it does make a big difference. Up top, you do have your air conditioner, 15,000 BTU air conditioner, and I'm happy about the ducting. The ducting does make a difference, so it's going to be quieter in here. You can actually watch TV and have a conversation going. So when it's just dumping straight from the AC, it does tend to be a little louder. I did not show you this TV. So this is a 12-volt TV, so you can see that plug up there. You can use this without being plugged into shore power or a generator. You got all your apps ready to go. 32-inch smart TV, and it is placed perfectly in front of the couch. Look at that. Like I said, there's a lot of great things that this thing is checking off the box, like counter space, cabinetry, perfect placement of the TV, lots of floor space, extra seating, and then this does swivel. So if you wanted to, maybe the guests are watching it, you could put it towards this couch, or if you're at the bed, you can still swivel it and get a good movie going at night from the bed. It will tilt also towards the kitchen. So if you're in here cooking, you could still see the TV right there. So overall, nice placement of the TV right there. Let me push this back, because we're going to talk about the control panel when we get out of the bathroom. Plugs, real quick, I want to show you the plugs. So you have one plug here, actually plug tower. So you could set your phone on top of this. That'll charge your phone like a charging pad. Pull this up. You got 2 plugs right here, and then USB and USB-C. When you're ready to put it down, don't take your finger off. Make it nice and flush right there. 2 plugs there, and then you have the 2 over there. That should definitely suffice for this kitchen area to get all those appliances going. Then you have another plug right there by the couch if you want to work from there. And then again, you have the 2 plugs back there on both sides of the bed, and then plugs on both sides there too. So everywhere you're sitting or hanging out, someone will have a plug if they want to get some work done or anything like that. Bring this down to make my exposure look a little better. But overall, love it. Moving on to the bathroom. As you can see, it's got the sliding door, pocket door, which I think is a must in this unit. So you're not going to disturb anything. So versus the swinging door that will take up space. I'm someone that would rather have a smaller bathroom and more living space. So this is kind of the setup I would like. Bathroom is a little smaller. It's not going across the whole back half of the trailer like it usually does, or the back part of the trailer. So it's giving you a lot. That's what's giving you all the counter space, all the cabinetry, and more kitchen room. So it's always a give and take with trailers. I always say, first thing you should do is sit on the toilet, make sure that's comfortable. And this is one of the things that they replaced with that sink. So I'm very happy. I think this is a nice step up. You're getting a porcelain throne instead of the plastic the 25 models had. So it's going to stay a lot cleaner, and it's not going to be it's not going to make some noises when you go to sit on it when it's plastic. So let's sit on this bad boy. I am 5'7", so plenty of knee room. You can even kick your legs out if you want to have a recliner on the toilet. And then we'll turn you around. And see how this kind of goes in right here? This is right-handed people. Perfect. That is perfect. Like, so this kind of goes in to give you a little more shoulder room. Left-handed, still good. Still not bad. This is like much better than like the 21F BRS Flagstaff. That one, you can't even really do this. So most people are going to be perfectly comfortable in this. No problems. Now, the space you're working with right here, I kind of measured this little box right here, 17 by 27. So from the toilet seat to the shower pan, you got 17 inches. So 17 by 27. Now, turn you around nice and slow, not make you sick. Love that you have some counter space. Usually you don't get that in this size of unit. So if you got the straightener, hair dryer, anything like that going on, you have this little counter space. This is roughly going to be 9.5 by 21.5 to the sink. You got your plug for your hair dryer and straightener. And then you do have another one down here, storage. And I'd imagine it's kind of that same size for this little storage down here. Your sink, you got 8 by 11. And 8 by 11 roughly, because it's round. I didn't really know how to measure that. 8 by 11 and 5.5 inches deep for this sink. Nice good size sink. Hot, cold water, obviously. And then you have your medicine cabinet with your mirror. Check out the hairdo. I'm going back to the mullet soon. Back to the mullet, baby. All right, you got your medicine cabinet. Pretty standard stuff right there. You even have your toothbrush holder. I like how they're hidden behind. Keep them clean. Overall, not bad. Easy access to your plumbing. So a little bit of storage. Didn't really measure that one. There's your plumbing for you guys. And I still have the door shut. So, I mean, you can move around in this. Not bad. Over here is the shower. I really like this shower curtain thing. So it opens up like this. But what I like about it is how secure that water is. Like, you're not going to have any water coming out. So it locks into place. And look at how it's butt up right against the shower surrounding right there. And then even this is behind this metal thing right here. So there is literally no way for water to get out. Much better than the shower curtain, because those start to stick to you when you're showering. And that gets annoying. So I gave you some couple different measurements in this. I measure what you can actually stand in. The manufacturer doesn't really measure what you can stand in, because see how it kind of comes up. The shower pan that you can stand in is 25 by 32. The surrounding everything, you got 28.5 by 36 for that shower. Now, if we're talking about interior height, again, because this has 82-inch interior height, you are getting more height in the shower pan as well, or in the shower. So from the shower pan to the skylight, you do have 6 feet, 7 inches, or 79 inches of height. So if you're 6'8", you're just too dang tall and you're going to be in the space dome. So this skylight lets in a lot of natural light, as well as gives you some extra height in here. Like I said, 5'7", 250 pounds of pure muscle. Just kidding. But look at this. Plenty of height. I think most people are going to be just fine in this unless you're a giant. And, you know, I could take a decent... This is a really good size shower. You know, I can do the noodle arm. Plenty of room. Rinse off. Do what you need to do. And then the shower head, I usually like to put it up, but it has the antifreeze in it, so I don't want it to spill everywhere. But you do have a thing to shut it off if you want to conserve water. But it's not at a bad height. It'd probably go to like right here. So 5'7", not bad. But you can take the wand off if you want to rinse off, anything like that. These do not have the shower miser on the Nobos, but I'd imagine it's something we could easily add on later. Of course, you do got the big fart fan, baby. Woo! And what else is cool is it's got the rain cover now. So that's another thing they replaced on the 25 for that sink, is you got a rain cover for your fan, where they used to not do that. The nice thing about that is, if you leave it open and it's raining, you won't get water in here. Another thing is you can go down the road, keep this going, and then it won't be as stuffy in here. So definitely will keep that condensation low in here as well. It's got 4 speeds. Great fan right there. Turn you around. Got to show you the wallpaper. Always love the wallpaper. You got Cowboy Dan. You got Lassie. You got a tent. You got the rabbit. You got a coyote. Cool. And a horse. Pretty neat, huh? Just the little details. I love Nobo. You even got your hooks for your towels. Now, I don't know why they do this, but who am I? But they split up your control panel. So this is a portion of your control panel. You got your readings for your battery, fresh water, black tank, gray tank, water pump, water heater, all that good stuff. This does have a tankless water heater, so take as long of a shower as you want. If you're like me, I love long showers. So it does have the tankless water heater. And then, if you're someone that camps in cold weather, this is a very nice feature. So you see it says heated holding tanks. You got a 12-volt heat pad on your fresh, gray, and black tank. Now, I always talk about this and I like to go in depth on this because a lot of people get confused with it. So there's really two main ways that you can have a heated underbelly. There is a third way, but I don't really count it. So you can have a heated and enclosed underbelly with a duct going down and then a vent heating that underbelly, or you can have the 12-volt heat pads and heated enclosed underbelly. 12-volt heat pads is the way to go, in my opinion, because I always say it, if maybe you're in Florida, the weather's not freezing there, then you're driving with your tanks filled, and then you're going maybe into Colorado, long trip. But you're going into Colorado, it's wintertime, you're going from that hot weather to the freezing temps. What are you gonna do when your tanks are filled? You're gonna have to either drain them or be very cautious and concerned about your tanks freezing, because I'm pretty sure you can't have your heater going while you're going down the road. So with those 12-volt heat pads, before you get into the colder states, flip those on, have your tanks full, and you don't have to worry about anything freezing on you and cracking. Other reason I like it is, let's say my customers that bought this, they're in a cold state and they're gonna go out and enjoy a nice dinner, celebrate their new No Boundaries purchase, and it's freezing temps. Hopefully it's not. But if they're out having dinner, they're not gonna have to keep their heater running the whole time they're not in it. Just turn those 12-volt heat pads on, and then they go about their day and have dinner or do whatever they want to do, and then they're not wasting propane the whole time they're not in it. So really nice way to conserve propane as well. It's going to save you money on propane because that is not cheap. So 12-volt heat pads is the way to go if you're someone that wants to camp in cold weather. But that is all your stuff right there. This is the Beast Mode package. So you get a little bit of upgrades on the Beast Mode, not just the suspension. For instance, you get the 30 amp solar controller. Instead of 200 watts of solar, you get 400 watts of solar. So this will have a 2000 watt inverter, whereas if you didn't get the Beast Mode, it would just be prepped. So 2000 watt inverter and 400 watts of solar instead of the 200 watts. So that's going to constantly keep those batteries recharged. Just keep in mind with this setup, you cannot run everything. It's just a trickle charge the batteries. They do have a power package that you can buy. It's a pretty big upgrade and the price significantly increased. You still have to be careful because it will run everything, but it's only going to work for like 3 to 4 hours roughly. It just depends on what you're using. So I mean, honestly, a generator is a nice way to go, or you could order the power package if you want. Just whatever way you want to go. But this setup with the Beast Mode will have that 200 watts of solar, 2000 watt inverter instead of just the prep. So there is your bathroom. We will go outside now and show you some of that stuff. And I'm going to show you a couple other features and travel mode, and then we'll go outside. Really nice feature right here, right by the door. I love this. You got your attachments right here with the long hose. You got the road vac, baby. Woo! Dang, that thing's got some pressure. And then you sweep your dirt up to right here. And then you got a nice little dust pan right there at your disposal. I love the placement of it because you can, make sure you vacuum underneath the slide. Last thing you want is to get a big rock or something in there, and then you scratch your floor up and tear it. So the vacuum cleaner does come in handy after long trips, and love that it's by the doorway so you can kind of clean up in here after you're done using it or while you're using it. Here is the remainder of your control panel. So you have your lights, your slide, and your awning. We will put the slide in. Real quick, I want to tell you how much room you got with the slide out. You got 4 feet 10 inches from the countertop to the couch. Plenty of room. Even when the theater seating is out and leaned back, you still have plenty of room to walk by without having to put it down. So 4 feet 10 inches when the slide is out. And then we will see what travel mode is. So travel mode is nice to see because then you can you could see what you can and can't access. So if you need to go to the bathroom, sometimes you can't do it if the slide is in the way. Sometimes you can't get to the fridge if the slide is in the way. And sometimes you can't get to the bed when the slide is in. One thing I love about this layout that I'm going to show you versus the Flagstaff is the bed. So here is travel mode. How perfect is this setup? So this is another reason why this is so popular. So from the countertop to the couch, now you have 2 feet 1 inches. Look how comfortably I'm walking backwards through this. So if you go to get groceries and you need to load the fridge, well, bam, You can get to this fridge, no problem, load it. You can get to the bathroom if you really gotta go and it's an emergency, plenty of space. Now, probably the coolest thing is, let's just check this out. I'm kind of guessing, hopefully I didn't talk too soon. So on the Flagstaffs, you cannot put the bed down when the slide is in. Let's see what we could do on this one. And the Flagstaff is the same size. Woo! That is awesome. Look at this. And you can still walk over here. Incredible. Okay, even on the 25-foot Flagstaffs, you cannot put the bed down, and that's a 25-foot trailer. So being 24-ish feet, you can still come in here and utilize the bed. So if you need to take a nap, maybe you've been driving all night, stop at the Cracker Barrel, you can still utilize the bed. You can still get to the fridge, access all the counter space if you want to make sandwiches, and the bathroom. Huge plus on this travel mode trailer. So I would say this is about as perfect as it gets. Very rarely do I say perfect for travel mode. Awesome. Very simple. Just slide out. If you notice, all your windows are tinted as well, so it might seem like a small detail. Some companies don't do that, but that's more like your more entry-level trailers. Nobo is definitely more of a premium trailer. I love this brand. Okay, let's go outside and I will show you some of the features and options out here. Okay. Woo, feels good out here. It's finally cooling down. So as you can see, you got your solid steps that fold right into the doorway. So this is, I'll pause right here. So this is the C series if you don't get the beast mode. So as you can see, you only get the 200 watts, like I said. If you get the beast mode, you get the beast mode package, 400 watts of solar, inverter, and filter, and the max air vent. And then we'll talk about the construction. So that's if you get the base model without the beast mode. So moving on to the front. We got your electric tongue jack right here. 20-pound propane tanks. We will get those filled for you. And then battery disconnect right over there to shut it off when you're done using it. Nice rugged look on the front. Look at that. It's got docking lights all the way around. Nice fiberglass cap. What do you guys think of that green tone? I love it. Blend in with the woods a little bit. It won't be so harsh on the eyes. You got your luggage latches right here. Slam latches, magnetic. Great storage in here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about construction after the storage. So the storage is 24 by 94 and 16 inches tall. The doorway itself is 13 by 20. Just to give you an idea of this, what you could fit in there. So storage is 24 by 94 and 16 inches tall. You do have a plug right here for USB and USB-C. You even have this. So if you get a drill and a socket, bring these down super quick because these are manual. Now, let me put this back real quick so I don't lose it. So this is all aluminum frame. This is huge. So 6-side aluminum framing, welded. Front wall, back wall, both side walls, roof, and floor are all aluminum. This is fantastic for a lot of many reasons. It's going to be stronger, lighter. You can also get on the roof and make sure everything is all good. So just when you look at trailers, ask the sales guy, is it 6-side aluminum frame? Because a lot of times companies will stick a sticker on the side and it'll say aluminum framing, but it's mixed with wood. So this is a 6-side aluminum frame trailer. I love that Nobo's still giving you the griddle Flagstaff stopped. So an 18-inch flat top griddle right there. Love that, and I'll show you where that goes. So really good quality framing and construction. I still have some more construction stuff to talk about when we go around, as well as how to save you money. So you got the glass door, looks awesome. You can't see out of it, but the window you can. Kind of gets people. Now they did upgrade the bracket as well in replace of the sink. So look at this nice bigger bracket, just looks a lot more sturdy. That's where your griddle will go. Nice metal top for seasonings and prep station. I'll include the bug. And then over here you do have your hot and cold water for a shower. Another storage area right here. This is your coil hose. This will be 10 by 24 and 16 inches tall. Not super big, but a nice little storage area for you. You got the big awning, indoor and outdoor speakers, all Bluetooth. You even have a nice light right here, patio light, and your LED lights that go across. Nice big awning. You did get the spare tire, the rugged one. Sometimes they'll send it with the road tire, so I'm happy it did come with the off-road tires. Sometimes they send it with whatever they have. I love where the tankless water heater is because it allows your door on your storage to be bigger, the same size. Sometimes they'll put it on the storage and your storage door gets smaller. Prepped for the ladder, I know, boo. But the ladder you can buy is nice. It kind of goes at an angle so it's safer, and then it telescopes and it's lightweight. Down below, there's your black and gray tank right there, and it sits nice and high because it has that dovetail versus like normal trailers. See how over there it's just flat? This has a dovetail on the front and the back. So see on the front? So when you're going down steep inclines coming up, you're not gonna have to worry about dragging any of your plumbing or your jacks. Love that little detail that people don't see. Schwintek slide system, nice solid slide. Always like feel the slides when you go out and look at them. These are solid. Some trailers you could go out and push on the slides and the walls will go in. So this is not an entry-level trailer by any means. You do have city water right here. So when you're at a campground, potable water right there. And like I said, your storage door will be the same size because that water heater is on the back. You do have the filter that'll come with the beast mode. So it'll filter all of your water. There's antifreeze in it now. So it's winterized and it'll filter all your water, shower, sink, all that good stuff. And I do need to ask the customer if they're going to use it right away because we will winterize it now that we're getting in colder months. But if you're going to use it right away, we will not winterize it and have it ready for you. Now, for the main attraction, the beast mode. Look at those 15-inch mud tires. It does have the tire monitoring system, or it'll alert you if your tires are low or anything too hot. A really nice tool to keep track of those tires. And then, oh, I'm trying to hurry. Sorry, guys. Getting flustered. Look at that. Woo, boy. This customer is going everywhere. So Kurt independent suspension. If you notice, it doesn't have that axle in the middle. So if there's big boulders in the road or anything, you're not going to hit those and cause damage to the axle. I believe they said 5 inches of flex with those springs and nitrogen filled shocks. It does have a good warranty. I meant to get that for you guys, but awesome setup. Not only that is it going to get you places, but imagine how long or how much it's going to help the longevity of this trailer. You know, you hit a big pothole, a big boulder, it's going to absorb a lot of that shock transferring into the frame of the trailer. So not only is the frame constructed well, the independent suspension is also going to help that frame. So this thing is meant to last. And look at this, I'm almost sitting underneath this thing. The dovetail definitely helps. And like I said, it's all buttoned up nicely. Heated and enclosed underbelly with those 12-volt heat pads. Now, one thing I want to talk about construction-wise, and then I want to talk about how you can save money buying here. So the way they make these walls, sometimes it'll either go fiberglass, then it'll either go Luan or a composite material. Then it'll go the rigid block foam, the aluminum, and then your inner walls. Luan is just a thin sheet of wood that goes across the whole trailer. And what happens when wood gets wet? It starts to get moldy, it starts to what's called delaminate, and you've probably seen it, walls start to bubble. That's an indication that there is water damage and water is in the walls, and now the walls are separating. The composite material is impervious to water, as they say. So it's a waterproof material. They stuck it in water for months and months and months until they probably got sick of looking at it. So that material is waterproof and it did not degrade at all. So they kept it in that water and it did not change. So this trailer will have the Azdel composite outer wall. So this is really going to help the longevity of the trailer as well. There's different brands, kind of like tissue paper, toilet paper, there's different brands. Azdel is just the brand. So like Flagstaff, it'll say composite wall because they use a different brand. So when you're out looking at trailers, just ask the sales guy, does it have a composite wall? So, whew, that was a long one. All right. I hope my customer was able to see that. Came in nice. I wanted to show you it when it got here, just so you can see how great they come in. Good quality control for sure. I want to talk about how this customer was able to save money. So in New Mexico, we have what's called a sunshine law. I've made a video about it real detailed. It'll be at the very end. Click on it or it'll be in the description. But basically we have what's called the sunshine law. You can get our sales tax without having a physical address here in New Mexico. It'll still be registered to your address wherever you're at. So he called me. I'm not sure if he knew about it, but I told him about it, and he was saving a lot in taxes. So 4% in Arizona, the average sales tax is 8.2%. And it goes all the way up to 11.9% because the base tax is 6.2%, but there's a caveat. Arizona and a lot of other states have city and county multipliers. So the average is 8.2. I think the lowest is a little above 6.2% because of those county and city multipliers. And then some places, like I said, 11.9%. So you always got to make sure, does your state do this county and city multipliers? Ours is just 4% across the board for RVs. Second way he saved money is here in New Mexico, you get taxed on the trailer after the trade. So he had a Winnebago he's trading in. Just an example, this wasn't what his was, but let's say a trailer's worth $60,000. Someone's trading in a trailer for $20,000. You're going to pay taxes on $40,000 instead of $60,000. Other states, they will charge you taxes on the $60,000. So you're going to save even more taxes because of the tax incentive or the trade incentive. So when you trade in, it'll be after the trade. So a lot of states do that. Do the taxes on the sell price, not with the trade. So he was able to save on the taxes and the trade. Another way he's saving money is you can re-register the unit every single year here. So New Mexico will mail you a form and you just re-register it. But the thing that's impressive about it is New Mexico goes off of the weight, not the sales tax. So these trailers, the weight is going to be a lot less. If you're buying a motorhome, it'll be GVWR. If you're buying a tow behind, it'll be the dry weight. So for something like this, you'd probably be anywhere from like 25 to 40 bucks a year to register it. Someone told me in Colorado recently that his was 600 bucks and then Nevada was like 500 bucks. So you're going to save thousands down the road too. If this is your last trailer, you think about how much you're going to save each year registering it. So you're going to save on the initial taxes. If you have a trade, you're going to save on the taxes again, and also registering it every year, you're going to save as well because of us, the state going off the dry weight. So if you want to do what this customer did, very simple. We haven't even met in person. He called me up. We placed the order. We have good connections at the factory. Did take a couple weeks longer than we told him. So usually about 8 weeks, a little over 8 weeks. We got it here and it is ready to go for him. And he's going to come out hopefully this coming week and take it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tour. If you want to know where I'm located at Albuquerque RV in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Our phone number will be down below in the description. So if you call in, please ask for Tyler because we are on a rotating list. So if you don't ask for me, you could end up with another sales guy. Also, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I'm a full-time salesperson. So please, if you could do that, it helps me a lot. I put a lot of work into these videos. But yeah, every Sunday, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we go live. Come hang out and ask questions. We tour the whole lot. Sunday, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It is a lot of fun. I think I've taken enough of your time. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tour. And I hope you have a good evening, a good night, a good morning whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.